Peace, everyone. This is No More Trauma Consulting. I am Nazia, and this week's Trauma Tip Tuesday topic is turning your trauma into triumph. We are dismantling the doom and gloom of trauma. We are changing the way that we view trauma. It is not a life sentence. Yes, it happened. Yes, it hurt. Yes, it even rocked us to our core. But guess what? We made it. Now it's time to unlearn and relearn. I know that I'm making it sound so simple, but listen, when you make a conscious decision that this is not the end of my story, your story, then you will begin to create the life that you want instead of fighting against the life that you don't want. Does that make sense? We spend so much time fighting against something that we don't want instead of putting that energy into creating the life that we do want. We all have experienced some form of trauma and grief at some point in our lives. But listen, instead of letting it crush us, what if we truly saw it as an opportunity for growth? Contrary to popular belief, trauma in difficult times can help us grow. I'm sure you've all heard of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. But have you heard of PTG, post-traumatic growth? Yes, it is a real thing. And research has shown that people often confuse PTG with resilience, but they're not the same. Listen, resilience is the personal attribute or ability to bounce back. PTG, on the other hand, refers to what can happen when someone who has a difficult time bouncing back experiences a traumatic event that challenges his or her core beliefs, endures a psychological struggle, and then ultimately finds some sense of personal growth. Someone who is resilient when trauma occurs will not experience post-traumatic growth because a resilient person isn't rocked to the core by an event and doesn't have to seek a new belief system. I'll explain what is meant by a belief system when referring to PTG later. But psychologists are now using a self-report scale to determine whether and to what extent someone has achieved growth after trauma. It looks for positive responses in 5 areas of life. They are appreciation for life, relationships with others, new possibilities in life, personal strength, and spiritual change. There are also 2 traits that make some more likely to experience PTG. Number 1, being openness to experience. When one is more open to new experiences, they are more likely to reconsider their belief systems, therefore become more likely to experience post-traumatic growth. Number 2, extroverts are more likely to be more active in response to trauma, seeking out connections with others. Now, according to the American Psychological Association, women also tend to report more growth than men. Let's explore 4 ways you can now turn your trauma into triumph. The first one is notice what you've gained. Researchers have found that people who've experienced trauma often report real gains in other areas of life. Some may say that they now know what really matters to them, that their priorities are clear and they no longer worry about trivial things. Others say that they have better relationships with their friends, family, or children. A lot of people talk about an increased sense of spirituality or a deeper connection to their religion. Another way to notice what you've gained is to now look at the problems as challenges that can help you grow. Number 2, make new values. Let's say you have a beautiful decorative vase in your living room that you just absolutely love, and one day someone accidentally knocks it off the shelf. It shatters into 1,000,000 pieces. If you try to gather each of those pieces and glue the vase back together, it will never be the same. It will actually be more vulnerable to cracking again. In our lives, gluing together the vase means clinging to an old belief that has been proven false and that no longer serves you. That shattered belief can be, I'll never find happiness after my divorce. Or, I failed if my relationship didn't last a lifetime. Or, if I do a great job at work, I'll never be fired. The shattered vase could also represent when someone hurts you. No matter how much they apologize, how many sorries, how many I didn't mean it, inconsistent behavior, that vase will never be as it was before. The cracks now become a part of the story. So instead of looking at the vase You, as damaged, see the beauty in the cracks. The new value now becomes understanding that what the vase once was is nothing but a memory. However, you now get to rewrite the ending. We've all met people who have been hurt or even seriously wronged and have become cynical, jaded, and convinced that the world is out to get them. Hell, we've all been that person or still are that person. But listen, that is not a growth mindset, nor is it true. Number 3, update your operating system of values. We all have stories that we've told ourselves or fairy tales wrapped around our core beliefs. Growing from loss means incorporating them into a new, more mature worldview. You might really believe in the possibility of real love, and that's absolutely fine. However, recognizing that it doesn't always last forever. You might really value hard work and taking risks, but now you understand that taking risks might not pan out, but trying is what you really value. You might want a partner who values you, yet understands that the one who doesn't isn't the right person for you. This is what is meant by changing your belief system. And last, but definitely not least, number 4, create positive moments. Sometimes some things in life just suck. And when going through a difficult time, we may have to shove in positive moments intentionally. Now, they don't have to be huge, life-changing, I just met the person of my dream moments. They can be small, meaningful things like really appreciating a sunset or enjoying dinner with a good friend or doing yoga on the beach. Whatever it is that brings you peace. Negative moments can be more gripping. Hell, let's be honest, they can knock the wind out of you. So you may need about 3 great sunsets and 3 great dinners to make up for the one rude person giving you the finger in traffic. Now that we've gone over 4 ways you can begin turning your trauma into triumph, make sure that you begin implementing these new ways. Embrace this new concept of post-traumatic growth, understanding that you can grow from your trauma. This is not meant to invalidate your experience. Rather, it is meant to give you a brand new perspective about your experience. It's time to let go of the past. It's time you become the author, editor, and publisher of your story, changing the narrative. It's no longer about who hurt you. It's now about becoming your own rescue. By rewriting the ending to your story, you minimize the power your old story had into the nothingness that it is. Until next time, grow through every experience. And remember, healing is a journey, not a destination.